Ever catch yourself wondering if you're really the one calling the shots? Or if maybe, just maybe, it's all just a bunch of random and, let's be honest, often hilarious stuff happening? Well, get ready, because today we're taking a deep dive into a story that throws those questions into sharp and slightly unsettling relief. Edgar Allan Poe's The Angel of the Odd. We're talking about a tale that's as funny as it is thought-provoking. We'll unpack why this bizarre story still resonates with readers today, how Poe uses language to make the absurd feel real, and who knows, we might even stumble upon a little wisdom in all the chaos.
Sounds intriguing.
So picture this. Our main man is having one of those days. You know the ones. He's drowning his sorrows in books and booze when he comes across a newspaper article. Now, this isn't your average news story, oh no. This one's detailing a whole string of strange and gruesome deaths, things like choking on a chicken bone or tripping over a cat.
Talk about bad luck.
Right. Now, most people would probably just shrug it off, maybe think they're lucky stars it wasn't them, but not our friend here. He decides to wage war on the very idea of odd accidents. Claims they're nothing but superstition.
Which, knowing Poe, is probably like ringing the dinner bell for disaster.
You hit the nail on the head. Because, of course, the universe has other plans, and they arrive in the form of, wait for it, the angel of the odd. And I'm using the term angel very, very loosely here.
I'm almost afraid to ask.
Imagine, if you will, a creature cobbled together from, well, let's just say discarded household items. Think wine barrels, bottles, a random boot. You name it, it's probably part of this thing.
Poe's imagination never disappoints, does it?
Never. And Poe, being Poe, he doesn't just tell us about this angel. He paints a picture so vivid you can practically smell well, whatever it is the angel smells like.
Yeah.
He even gives us a glimpse into its voice, which apparently sounds like, and I quote, an empty barrel beaten with a big stick.
Oh, that's just delightful.
It's this incredible mix of the ordinary and the utterly bizarre that makes Poe's writing so captivating. What are your thoughts on that from a literary perspective?
Oh, it's masterful. It's like he's taking these everyday objects, things we take for granted, and twisting them into something strange and unsettling. By building the angel from this junk, Poe's making a point about how the odd, the unexpected, it's not some far-off concept. It's all around us.
He's saying the line between the mundane and the extraordinary is thinner than we think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Poe doesn't stop at just introducing this ridiculous figure. The angel has an agenda: to show our skeptical friend just how real the odd can be. And trust me, the results are anything but subtle.
Oh, things get wild.
That's an understatement.
It starts out small, a raisin stem jamming the protagonist's clock, making him miss an important meeting. But, well, things escalate pretty quickly from there. We're talking a house fire started by a runaway rat, a broken arm courtesy of a, shall we say, overly affectionate hog.
You can't make this stuff up.
And it doesn't stop there. Our poor protagonist even endures a series of failed romances, all thanks to the angel's meddling.
It's like Poe took every piece of bad luck imaginable and crammed it into one story.
It really is a catalog of all the ways life can go hilariously wrong.
And you know what I find interesting about that?
Yeah.
It's almost like deep down we all have a little bit of that superstition in us, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
Like we like to think we're in the driver's seat, but then life throws a wrench in the works.
Right.
A flat tire on the day of a big presentation, or spilling coffee on your favorite shirt.
The worst.
Suddenly you start to wonder if maybe, just maybe, there's something else going on, some mischievous force out there messing with us.
100%. I've definitely blamed a rogue gust of wind for a bad hair day or two. But Poe, he takes this to a whole other level. I mean, come on, in what universe does a man get attacked by a sentient bottle of wine?
That's where the dark humor comes in.
Oh, for sure.
Poe uses these totally over-the-top situations to, I think, show how pointless it is to try and control the uncontrollable.
Right. It's like he's saying, oh, you think you've got problems? Just wait till you see what I've got in store for you.
And yet there's something kind of comforting about that, isn't there? Like, if even the most ridiculous stuff that can happen can be blamed on some mischievous angel of the odd, well, maybe our everyday problems aren't so bad after all.
I think you're onto something there. It's a way of finding the humor in the absurdity of it all, right? A coping mechanism for when the world just doesn't make sense.
Exactly. And Poe, he definitely has a way of finding humor in some pretty dark places. But it's not all, slapstick and silliness. There are moments in this story that are genuinely unsettling, like the description of the angel itself. I'm thinking of the part where Poe describes his eyes as two little glass bottles with a spark of gas burning inside.
Yeah.
It's both comical and creepy at the same time.
Definitely. Poe walks that line between humor and horror so well. He creates this darkly comedic atmosphere that keeps you hooked, even while you're laughing. And he does it all through his amazing use of language. It's true. Even when he's describing something as ridiculous as a man getting his wig stolen by a pig, there's this, like, rhythm and precision to his writing that just sucks you in.
It's like he's composing a symphony of the strange. For instance, take the sentence where he describes the angel's voice. It was like nothing in the world, nothing even out of it. It was like, oh, he was like the grunting of a bear with a sore head mixed up with the crying of a baby calf with the colic and then squeezed out through the inside of an empty butter cask.
Whoa, that's a mouthful. It's long, it's winding, it's full of these insane images, and yet somehow it's perfectly constructed. It just creates this feeling of chaos and confusion, which is, of course, exactly what the angel represents.
Exactly. Poe's language isn't just descriptive, it's an experience. He doesn't just tell you about the angel, he makes you hear its voice, smell its weird jumble of parts, feel the chaos that it's bringing to this guy's life.
Immersive storytelling at its best, and it's what makes Poe's work so timeless. He taps into these universal anxieties we have about the unexpected, the unknown, the things we can't control, and he does it with a wit and artistry that are still so relevant today. It really makes you think, though, about our need to find patterns, even when, well, they might not actually be there.
It's human nature, isn't it?
Yeah.
We want things to make sense, to have meaning, some kind of order in the chaos. And when we can't find it, well, sometimes we just invent it.
Like our friend in the story blaming every little thing that goes wrong on this angel of the odd.
Exactly. He'd rather believe in some bizarre creature made of, what was it, wine bottles and boots, than accept the possibility that maybe, just maybe, some things just happen.
Easier to swallow a mischievous angel than face the idea that we're all just along for the ride.
And Poe seems to be grappling with that very idea, doesn't he? He's not giving us any easy answers, no comforting platitudes. He just throws us headfirst into this absurd and, let's be honest, kind of terrifying world and says, figure it out.
Which I think is what makes The Angel of the Odd so powerful. It's not just a funny story. It's this darkly comedic look at chance, control, the limits of what we can really understand.
And maybe, just maybe, it's a reminder that sometimes the best way to handle the unexpected is to embrace how ridiculous it all is.
Laugh in the face of the unknown, even when it's wearing a Hessian canteen for a head.
Precisely.
Yeah.
A little odd might be just what we need. Reminds us not to take ourselves too seriously, to expect the unexpected, maybe even find some joy in the chaos.
I don't know about joy, but a healthy dose of caution seems like a good idea. Next time I see a stray wine bottle, I'm steering clear.
Probably wise. But on a serious note, I think there's a real lesson here about letting go of the need to control everything.
Accepting that sometimes things just happen, and that's all right.
More than all right, it's life, right? It's the detours, the chance encounters, even the odd accidents that make our journeys interesting.
It's what makes for a good story, that's for sure.
Speaking of stories, for anyone who wants to explore more of Poe's dark and twisted genius, I highly recommend his short story, The Imp of the Perverse. It'll really make you think about those impulses we all have that we can't quite explain, the ones that make us act against our own best interests.
Oh, sounds like classic Poe. Thought-provoking and more than a little bit creepy. Well, this deep dive has given me a lot to think about. I'm going to be looking at everyday objects a little differently from now on.
Who knows what lurks beneath the surface of a seemingly ordinary teapot?
Maybe all it takes is a touch of the odd to remind us that life is full of surprises, some wonderful, some strange. And on that note, we'll leave you to ponder the mysteries of the universe and, hey, maybe even embrace a little odd in your own life. Until next time, happy reading, and remember, sometimes the most rational explanation is that there isn't one.